Joe, what can we expect from the lineup tomorrow night?
More changes. Yeah, look, rotating the squad, it was always prescribed at the start of this little adventure, these 4 games. So and done on purpose, just to see a broad range of combinations and opportunities. And you know, it's been great to be able to do it at this level because we can gauge exactly where we're at.
How have you handled the first loss?
To be honest, haven't really looked at it as a loss. I've looked at it more as more information for us to really go forward. I mean, obviously I've said all along we're trying to obviously lift the way and lift the style and lift the football, and we want to do it without negative results. But it's probably one that you know, we say, okay, you know, some opportunities were given. Obviously, when you make a lot of changes like that, there is going to be a little bit of instability. But I still have belief in the process, and still have belief in the way going forward. And as I said, we've got a bank of information that will help us go forward.
What have you learned about the squad coming out of that game?
Oh, look, I mean, you sit here and say, okay, you give a player one opportunity and you judge them on that. It's the wrong thing to do. You know, you have to look at the positives, the negatives, and where they can learn. I think there's a little bit probably more of a general cultural piece that we can take out of it. You know, obviously. Understanding international football, understanding when a team does break up the game and tries to stop rhythms and so on, we have to be better mentally, and even as a coaching staff, we have to be prepared for these opportunities. So for me, the perfect way of learning these levels of international football is through an experience we had the other day.
You said for yourself you didn't really view it as a loss per se. What about from the players' perspective? How did you ensure that they didn't get too down about the result?
Well, it's like everything. You know, you don't lose, you learn. You learn from these situations. It's a perfect opportunity to learn because, you know, it's not a do or die game. It's not a game that we are going to lose points on, or you know, lose our status in a competition situation. It's a game where, you know, it was always prescribed that we were going to make a lot of changes, and I think the good thing about it is players individually, you know, who are given an opportunity can look at themselves and learn and understand. So we focused on the takeouts of the game, you know, because there were some good passages. It just wasn't continuous enough, and it probably wasn't you know, at times football intelligent enough, if that's the right word to use.
In terms of that intelligence, what more would you like to see from them in this final game?
Well, look, I think we go back to the improvement from game 1 and 2, just making sure that we stick to our style, stick to what we believe in. That's the most important thing. That always has to be the base, and then find a way within the situation, and find a way within the problem that the opposition give us to find the solutions. And you know, I've said from day one, we want to do it more with the ball than without the ball. And you know, it's only going to be better for them going forward because, as I've said all along, we have to be better with the ball under pressure, and we have to understand the moments that we can go forward and the times we have to prepare with the ball.
You mentioned it earlier just off camera, but in terms of who's left the squad since Bunbury, can you just run through those names?
Yeah, Alex Chidiac has left, M. Gilnick has left, and Torpy has left also. They've all gone back to relative clubs and things that were already organised before camp.
4 debutants the last game. Are you expecting any more this game?
Yeah, could be. It's been an important part of it. I think you know, widening the net of players that potentially can be in the Matildas. We've had to give them the opportunity to A, be part of camp and see what a camp is all about, and then B, obviously give them the game time that we think we could make a concerted sort of review and judgment on where they're at.
Tegan was dizzy after the game after coughing that knock. How is she feeling now? Is she going to play?
Yeah, a little bit of whiplash, but we're not going to take any risks. You know, we'll just you know, she'll be fine. Just a little bit of whiplash, and as I said, we just don't want to take any risks. No need to.
There were a couple of injuries on the Panama side as well coming out of Saturday's game. Is that changing how you're preparing at all?
Not at all. Not at all. The focus has been on us. The focus has been on what we need to do with respect to Panama. You know, to show that they are a tricky team. But no, from our perspective, we will continue to believe in what we're doing because we've understood that it's the right way forward to be a top international team.
A big part of that is working through the midfield. We've seen it hit and miss throughout this. Can we expect to see more of the same tomorrow night, where that's going to be the way they're playing?
If we're comfortable in central areas, if we're comfortable in playing under pressure through the midfield, everything else is easy, and we have to keep endorsing this. Because that will prepare everything, whether we go forward a little bit more direct going through midfield or whether we actually are able to play through. So we have to find a way to be comfortable doing that. And I think the game on Saturday saw that we were a little bit disjointed at times, and that probably hurt us a little bit in the overall scope of the game in terms of the result. But it's a message that we're going to keep endorsing, and it's a message that we're going to keep bringing forward. And as I said in the first two press conferences, it's now understanding when we can play a little bit quicker forward and when we need to slow it down and control. Yes, do I want the team to be a little bit more positive? Do I want it to be a little bit more proactive with the ball? Absolutely, but it's normal when you introduce a way of playing that says that the ball is the be-all and end-all. You're going to get a little bit of safety, and that usually sometimes is a little bit more, negative and with back passing.
You've mentioned wanting to see more combinations, see more fluidity as well. Can we expect to see extended minutes for the likes of Jess Nash, Alexia Apostolakis, and what new combinations are you hoping to try tomorrow night that you haven't done already?
Yeah, we obviously want to give them a bit more opportunities. They are players that we are looking for the future, and this is the perfect opportunity to give them that opportunity. So yeah, those combinations will be starting to flourish. If not tomorrow night, in the coming games.
Are you noticing any natural leaders emerge within the group, given that most of the established leadership has now left the camp or wasn't there to begin with?
Yeah, it's a conversation that we've sort of been having, not so much, and I'm probably going to go a little bit to a tangent and come back to you, Teo, on the question. It's naturally they're different leaders these days. They're not the leader that we probably knew and grew up with in my time, or probably in the last 10 years. Leadership is an interesting one, and it's sort of, I think it formulates as the camp grows and who becomes the ones that take command in the lead in the games and so on. And look, it's probably a little bit of a search in the national team to find those two or three leaders that we want, coming forward. But I'm a big one for everyone's a leader on the pitch. Everyone has their role, and everyone takes responsibility for their situation. And for me, leadership is showing what you can do and doing it on the park. So yeah, we have lost some players, probably more experienced players, but it's an opportunity for someone else to step forward.
Not to overdo the point, but I guess there's a difference between wearing an armband, being someone who keeps the standards high in a drill, and then maybe off the pitch, the alpha within the group who, the people gravitate towards or listen to or has the loudest voice. I mean, are these things that you just worry about the drills and leave the other dynamics to sort themselves out, or is it something that you and the staff have had an active role in trying to set some standards across the board?
Standards is the big word. I mean, we banter a word, all of us in sport, I think. Culture, what does it really mean? For me, it means standards, and the reality is that all players have been given now a gauge of what the standards are to be in this group, what the standards are to be involved in each session, in each situation where we're together. So I think each player's responsibility is to keep those standards, which will create a high-level culture.
Sorry if I missed it, but with Tegan not playing...
No, she won't be involved.
Have you decided who you'll go to in goals yet?
No, I'll speak to Tony, and we'll train today, and we'll make a decision probably later tonight.
No one else has been ruled out? Everyone else available for selection?
Everyone's fine. We'll manage a little bit of load. Obviously the tone has been that the training has been of quite a high intensity, and that's more to get a DNA and understanding of where we need to be. I suppose just as a professional athlete to compete at this level, so that the training loads have been high, and some players we are managing a lot of their loads, but everyone's fine.
And even though it's a window where it's more about learning, how much importance do you place on finishing up with a win?
I've said all along, you know, we want to create the culture, we want to create the standards, we want to create an idea of football, and obviously there will be a wider, extended look at where we're going with the squad, but we want to do it while we're winning. So a win is important, like always.
Final one.
It's obviously been a big window, a lot of travel, a lot of training, a lot of games to do, but the Women's Asian Cup qualifiers are going on at the moment. Have you had a chance to have a look across some of that and see any potential opposition that may be coming your way in March?
Hard to say, but there's definitely you know, some teams that are showing a lot of promise. So I think it's going to be a very difficult Asian Cup generally. So and a great tournament. You know, now it's going to be quite competitive from that perspective. So yeah, have been keeping an eye on it, and we'll wait and see who we get drawn and who we're going to face.